Good afternoon, peeps. Welcome to My Left Ear. This is video 96. I'm getting close to 100. It's Friday, June 10th, and I am Carrie Freeman. I'm the writer, producer, director of My Left Ear, which is a left-leaning political and psychic commentary YouTube channel. All mine. And I also am personally, privately a change agent. I do therapy, therapeutic hypnosis, and psychic coaching, and sometimes they are combined. And if you want information, just look below in the description section. I also update my community page too. So here we go. I'm gonna get right to it today, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Because last night, as you know, we had the first prime time of the January 6th committee hearings, but there was some breaking news this morning that I'm just going to mention. I know nothing yet, but I know the breaking news. And it has to do with someone that I have a huge issue with. You might also. And I'm really happy about this because I want this woman nailed. It is Ginny Thomas, the wife of Justice Clarence Thomas, who's been operating behind the scenes as a seditionist, behind the scenes, working on the coup. And she's been protected, I believe, by being the wife of Clarence Thomas. But here's the latest. Allegedly, it's important to say that word, pressed 29 Arizona state lawmakers to set aside Joe Biden's popular vote victory and choose presidential electors, according to emails obtained by the Washington Post. Here we go. I don't think this can be ignored. More to come. She's well, she left a cult and made no bones about it. But she has a cult personality that she could get this involved and make these many legal mistakes and think that she could be a part of overturning the United States government and votes, presidential election. All right, so here's what I did this morning to just get this, on the road for you guys. I threw the runes twice on two different subjects, but I'm going to do them right now. I'm doing one of them right now. And I asked, will the January 6th committee reveal those who led Capitol tours? And when I mean those, I mean other legislators that we've heard rumors about. Well, when I saw Adam Schiff questioned, he really, and this is not a criticism, tap danced around the answer because clearly he was not given permission to speak about it. It led my left ear to believe that there are some things, some knowledge that's being kept under wraps, okay? But here's what the runes. So the first rune I got, and I'm going to do this today, the rune of movement, but upside down, reversed. Oh, and that's Petey. We're hoping Petey will just be cute and stay quiet. I hope he doesn't upstage me. He's awfully cute. All right, movement reversed. This represents movement that is blocked. Be careful, this is timely. And that would be AKA Adam Schiff's reluctance to talk about it. Not all possibilities are open. My left ear wants to say yet. The opportunity at hand may be to avoid action at the moment. This rune, and we're not done yet, so don't jump. What is yours will come to you. And that may mean that the DOJ will reveal who ran the tours the day before on January 5th. It ain't over. So now the second rune, okay? The rune of strength. Strength. Now this is more about the Democratic Committee. Strength. Manhood, womanhood, and it represented the wild ox. So this is about terminations and beginnings. Really good news. And basically it's saying the life you have been living has outgrown its form. That message is so for these seditionists. Love it. This is a rune of passage. An old form must die so new energy can be released. But this can involve a descent into darkness. And listen, this thing is as dark as it can get. And something must die, according to the runes, for new energy to be released. And that, in my left ear interpretation, my interpretation is that the guilty ones are going to kind of have to perish in their positions and their jobs and careers. So it says, learn to adapt yourself to the demands of these changes, and that's a message to the GOP. Firm principles attached to this rune. And we know that GOP has no firm principles. All right, so that's good. And then we finally, over this reading about the seditionists conducting tours, reconnaissance tours in the Capitol, because the people that attacked knew where everything was. They knew all the entrances. It was very tactical, okay? So breakthrough, that's the cute little rune of breakthrough, if you can see that. And it has no reverse. I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. And breakthrough, it's a major shift and a breakthrough in self-change, meaning the government will change. And this transition is radical, like 180-degree change. It talks of one moment in life when seized, that would be the committee, transforms that life forever. So what the committee is doing, in my interpretation, and it feels really comfortable to say this, it's helping transform us on the road to healing, which won't be immediate. So a period of achievement and prosperity is often introduced by this rune, okay? But it can be, a message is that hard work can be involved here. So the answer is, will the committee reveal those who led the Capitol tours? And based on the runes, I'm going to say yes. And for whatever reason, they're keeping it under wraps because it is a wow factor. Like if it would come out during one of the, I think there's 8 more meetings. I could be wrong though. The mention of Lauren Boebert or Marjorie or others that may have given these tours, and there's good reason to believe there are others, not just those two. And this is me not knowing. I mean, I have my suspicions, but that's going to come out. All right. Now, a few days ago on Twitter, I wrote, keep an eye on Liz Cheney. She's gonna really rise to the occasion at these hearings. I saw her almost like, and I don't love her, but I appreciate her right now. I just saw her kind of becoming a superstar. This is gonna sound a little strange, but there's something about the sound of her voice. And she has a clarity in which she speaks, and she has no wasted words. So she's extremely effective in getting a point across. I call it a ping, okay? And then BENNIE Thompson, who opened the whole thing, he opened it with a lot of humility. And he was brief. He was slow when he spoke on purpose. He kept it simple. And he made a point of saying, and he did not say this, okay? I want to be clear. But it was as if he said in his explanation of why they're doing this investigation, this hearing, it's as if he said, it's not you, Republicans. It's not partisan. It's the Constitution. I thought that was very, very smart. Probably not heard, but very smart and very true. So I noticed, this is a really funny connection, but I noticed in my left ear that Liz Cheney and BENNIE used very simple language to communicate. They didn't talk down to us, but they used simple language and short sentences. And it reminded me of something I'm going to share with you that's really funny. Before I opened my YouTube channel, you know, you're reading through all this advice and blah, blah, blah. And I remember one day, I sort of am like this naturally. I cut to the chase. I don't over talk. This is my style. But I read, keep your presentation simple if you're starting a YouTube channel. And I want to say that they sort of did, making it very accessible to whoever watched it. And I did notice that Liz Cheney used repetition, and I was so pleased about that. So I'm looking at my notes, and I already said that BENNIE Thompson began with very non-threatening language and communication, suggesting that it's about the Constitution, it's not about attacking another party. He talked about his humble background and that he still lives in this small town. I thought that was beautiful. And in terms of the simplicity that I talked about, there is a quote by Einstein that I love, that I use all the time. Einstein said, make things as simple as possible, but not simpler. It's kind of mysterious at the same time that it's clear, but I love the simplicity. All right. One of the reasons last night was powerful, and you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody that didn't think it was well done and powerful, really. I've been listening and watching, is that there were no GOP interruptions. See, we're used to seeing the both parties like go at each other. We even saw it in the hearings for our new female black justice, Ketanji. This was a clear message with no interruptions, no yelling, no criticizing, no buts, or anybody hawking the time. It just flowed. And I must say, in particular, it was really a pleasure not to see Jim Jordan there. And speaking of Jim Jordan, this is really cool. There actually was something in Variety, the entertainment magazine, that was started by my ancestor, that said George's production company is called Smokehouse. And it's really funny because there's this big restaurant called the Smokehouse right near Warner Brothers and Universal, and it's very old world. It's been there forever, and George was a frequent flyer there. He was always there. In fact, I went there once, sat in a booth, and the waitress said, "Oh, you're in George's booth." So that's why his company is called Smokehouse Productions. It's his favorite restaurant. But at any rate, they've started on the documentary for that's gonna bring Jim Jordan down, the documentary that's about Jim and the Ohio State sexual abuse scandal. All right, so I'm just dropping that in there as like, I'm really happy about that. It's gonna take care of Jim, I think. And here's a comment, you know, an observation that Kevin McCarthy continually makes poor decisions. He would be the worst speaker on the planet. He has no spine. He just wants that position. First, he was against the committee, and he thinks he's going to just shut it down. But Pelosi found another way, and then he lost all his power. He lost all his power. And Liz Cheney and Kissinger joined to GOP, and so Kevin relinquished his power over this, and now he's playing the victim. He's not going to come out of this good, but he's a foolish man. This is a fact that I just heard. Remember when Trump at the debate, or one of them, said, okay, stand back, stand by. Well, that increased Proud Boy membership by 1/3. It spiked just from him saying that one statement. And it's, it adds to further proof that he was at the core of the insurrection. Now, British documentary filmmaker Nick Quested, you may have seen him last night. He embedded himself with the Proud Boys, really kind of took his life in his hands, and he videotaped the most powerful and frightening advance on the Capitol with the Proud Boys that we had not seen before last night. And it was just so disturbing and violent and frightening. So it also appears that Roger Stone rounded up the Proud Boys for Trump. That's what and that'll come out. I'm sure it'll come out. And there's a rumor, when I can easily believe it, my left ear can easily believe it, that extremists are still planning and plotting, and even some of them that are in jail. So it's good that they're in jail. They haven't stopped, and it'll come out. Powerful and real testimony that was emotional by Officer Carolyn Edwards, who got head injuries, was slammed to the pavement, bleeding, woke up and continued fighting. She went unconscious. She got up to fight again. She was sprayed with bear spray. She did medic work. She was slipping and sliding in other people's blood. She was very powerful and classy and so impressive. Now, another fact, you may have heard it from last night, that data experts who are experts in polling and voting and all this kind of stuff gathered Trump in a room during the election, the night of voting or the day of voting, and told him that he was going to lose in no uncertain terms. Everyone told him. And then Meadows had a conversation with these data guys, and Meadows asked them after they told him, so there's no there? And they said, no, there's no there. So Meadows knew. And then did you see this anemic couple? Anemic meaning they don't have blood. Jared and Ivanka do their little videos last night because they both look white, unhealthy, skinny, anemic, and they both looked tranquilized or sedated. It was creepy, like grown children of the corn. Very creepy. And Jared came off remarkably arrogant, just did such a good job of looking and acting like an A. Okay? AH. I don't want YouTube to be mad at me. All right, so here's the next rune I did. I asked, will the January 6th committee investigation hearings lead to DOJ actions and indictments? Because, of course, that's what we all want. So I'm just going to tell you up front, yes. Isn't that cool? I'm telling you up front. The first rune we got on this was the rune of wholeness. And the wholeness is the Democratic position. That's the wholeness. And it tells us this path of wholeness must be followed from the core, which it is by this great committee. It is a rune of great life force. It marks a regeneration down to the cellular level. And during this time, do not give yourself airs. And that would be directly to the Democrats. The people on this committee, do not get arrogant, do not get cocky. Just stay in that middle ground and do your job for the sake of doing your job. I agree with that. Then the second rune with this question, will the DOJ, blah, 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 it was signals reversed. Ha-ha, reversed. And this is connected to the shadow side of possessions. I mean, doesn't that just sum up the greed and the need for domination and the money from the NRA and the Russians? So this is just brilliant. The possessions rune reversed. And it says there may be considerable frustrations that go from the trivial to the severe. And this would be the message to the GOP. You may find yourself standing by helplessly while watching all your gains dwindle away. That's pretty, literal? And the runes suggest asking, this is kind of funny because nobody in the Republican Party would think like this, or maybe even in politics, I don't know. What do I need to learn from this? That would be me, that would be you, that would be, suggesting that to my clients. I don't think anybody from this, can you imagine Elise Stefanik, who is really a living witch, say, what do I need to learn from this? No. All right, and then the last rune of this question about the DOJ is the journey, but it's reversed. I mean, this is crazy. The runes were hot today. It says, at this time, ruptures are likely. Well, can you imagine the ruptures when the DOJ starts setting up their grand juries and their indictments and their subpoenas and their, when they get permission to just shove into someone's home and ransack it and take their computers? What is that? It's more than a subpoena. I think it's more than a subpoena. Anyway, reconciliations are doubtful. All relationships will flounder. This is when they'll start turning on each other. And it says, what you intended, GOP, is disrupted. So this is going to go to the DOJ. Now, they may cherry pick. It's hard to know, but it's going to the DOJ. Oh my goodness. I'll be back on Tuesday because then Monday there's another hearing, but it's in the morning or the daytime. Now I'm going to mention some good evidence, and this is what I call, because I told you my book, which is coming out, has categories, and this is what I would call everyday good evidence. So it's not, spectacular. It's just everyday good evidence, and the kind of stuff that just, when you start noticing, it shows up. All right, here's me going to Starbucks to write. In fact, I was writing this outline because I can really concentrate there. So I sat next to a window in a little bit of a private spot, but I'm next to a window and the light's coming in. So I sit down and you can just kind of bring this sheer shade down to affect the glare. And there was a man sitting on the other side, outside the window. And as I rolled the shade down, he looked at me and stuck his tongue out. It was actually a funny moment. I laughed. So that's just a moment. And if anything makes you laugh, don't judge it. Note it as good evidence, because it's good. Because when you laugh, you emit serotonin. This week, this is personal, a very dear friend who happens to be extremely busy did something. So I want to say, in a world of people that say, I'll get back to you, and do not, an old friend of mine made a promise to me and followed up this week. And I am very grateful. And then last night, this is about kindness on the street. I opened my front door and one of my neighbor's cats with a little bell came running by. And this cat comes sometimes in says hello to Petey. He loves it. And she was like, do you know who owns this cat? I think I hit a cat. She was really concerned. I said, I think it might have been my neighbor, and the cat was okay. But the woman's name was Mia. She was super nice. She didn't live in our building, and she was really one of those just nice people. She parked her car and ran out, and the cat is okay, not injured. And that's kindness on the streets, people. And I do have quotes because I forgot the quotes. Oh my God, I forgot the quotes. All right, here's 2 quotes. I don't know the man who wrote this. I have his name, but I just want you to know I don't know who he is or was. He wrote or said, a positive attitude may not solve all your problems, but it will annoy enough people to make it worth the effort. Obviously, his name was Herm Albright. Herm, I love that. Not Herman, Herm. A positive attitude may not solve all your problems, but it will annoy enough people to make it worth the effort. Thank you, Herm. That's good to know. I'm sure I've annoyed a few people. The second one by Galileo. He says, I think this really relates to the hearings right now. All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered. The point is to discover them. I mean, I really think that's about right now. The January 1st, 6th committee is discovering the truths. And so I just found this Galileo on the 4th page of I have a huge 30-page document of quotes that I've been saving for years. So I'm so glad you like my quotes and I get to share them because I just love quotes. So there we are. I'm taking off over the weekend. I'm trying to do this schedule, and I will let you know when I'm going to do the next Patreon. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do another Patreon this week, and I will include runes, and I will include a story. And the Patreon is just going to continue to grow and be, fun and entertaining and more personal. And I will, again, put that link in my community section, but it's also downstairs in the descriptions. So I think these rune readings were really good today and positive and right on the money. So I say thanks for watching. Please hit like. I don't always say that. I forget. I get so involved with what I'm doing. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe and tell your friends. Make peace. Make memories. And I'll see you Tuesday. More to come. More shock and awe. Okay. Bye-bye.